Hey everybody, it's Lacey. Welcome to Paws and Papers. So I am here today with what I think is a really cool collection. This is going to be a new collection in my Etsy shop. And I am going to call this the Century Collection because everything in here, with the exception of like 2 or 3 items, which I cannot, well, I can date one, but everything else is at least 100 years old or more. And I just think this is a really cool collection of papers, really old papers, things that I went through my stash, and they're harder to find and they're very unique and I just love them. So the first thing in every pack, and every pack is similar, it has the same exact things in it, just different designs, because obviously every one of these pieces is probably unique and one of a kind. So the first thing I have in every pack is one of these really pretty old Valentines. And every one is different. Some have writing in them and some do not, but they're just so pretty on the front. I don't know if you can see that, but the gold on it, just so pretty. And they're all die cut like that. So everybody gets a Valentine. And then there are 2 postcards, and they're all different designs, but they are all stamped and written on. None of them are blank, and they are both at least 100 years old. So 1912 and 1908. So like I said, everything in here is at least 100 years old. So you get 2 postcards. And then everybody gets in their pack one of these really hard, these are very mounted on really hard cardstock, and a really old vintage photo. Some of them have like the writing of the photographer on the back and some do not, but just a really cool vintage piece. Next is a pack of stamps. Excuse me, and all these stamps are just, they could be really old, and none of them are modern, I'll tell you that. They're all at least vintage, and they're from all over. I don't know what some of the countries are, but there's at least 20 stamps in here, and they could be from all over the world. It's just a random assortment of stamps, and they could be from any country. And then this is the other piece that is not 100 years old, but I just thought they were really cool. Hi, Stitch. Was a stock certificate. And these are all from the 1930s. But everybody gets a stock certificate just because they're fun to play with. They've got the embossed seal on them. And I included it in this pack just because I think they're neat. And sometimes certificates are hard to come by. I was going for things that... and it does have writing and things on it, but I was going for things that were, you know, very unique and maybe, you know, a little bit more difficult to come by. The next thing in here, now we get into like the paper section. Again, I tried not to go for just plain book pages because a lot of times you can find book pages, but I went for things that maybe were a little bit more interesting. Like this here is from a 1915 almanac, and everybody gets a double page spread. I also tried not to just tear the pages, so if I could keep them intact, I did. So this is from a 1915 almanac, and everybody gets a double page spread like that. Next in here is these are from, I think, a 1900s, at least a 1900s progressive reader book, you know, like the little kids' books. And I went for images. I tried to find those really pretty black and white images of the books. Some sides do not have the images, but I tried to find images in the book. So everybody gets 2 pages from a 1900s reader with pictures on them. The next sheets in here, everybody gets 2 sheets, and these are connected. These are from, this is from like an 1890. It was called Manners, Culture, and Dress. And this is what's really cool about this, is to just read some of the material in here. Like here, carriage dress. The dress for a drive through the streets of a city or along a fashionable drive or park cannot be too rich in material. I mean, how cool is that? I just think this is amazing. You know, it's just fun to read these things. So there's 2 sheets, and this is really cool paper. Sometimes the paper is really neat too. 2 attached sheets from an 1890 culture and dress book, which is super fun to read. Next up, we have, this is from a 1915 algebra book, which I thought was cool because you just get some really cool, some cool writing in here. I mean, I think these would be good for like collaging and stuff like that. I don't do too many of these book pages. I tried not to go for just plain book pages, but I thought the, you know, the numbers and stuff were kind of cool in this one. So that's a 1915. Stitch, get down. And then the next one here I have, this is kind of cool if you're doing anything steampunk-like. This is from a 1903 oil, and I don't think it says it up there. It's an oil and gas well supplies book, but it has cool pictures and then a lot of these tables with numbers and stuff, which I think is just kind of cool for collaging. But the pictures here would be really cool for like a steampunk journal. So everybody gets 1 double sheet of that. Next in here, everyone gets, and this one didn't have dates on it, but I know these are at least 1920s. Okay, so that was amazing. My husband just scared the cat half to death, and he just flew off my table. Camera goes flying. Oh my gosh. So, yes, back to what we were doing, if I can do this uninterrupted. Everyone in this pack here gets a sheet of handwritten, I think these are 1920-ish. There are, I think they were like a children's, like writing tablet. They were, you know, schoolwork. But anyway, I just think the writing is very cool because they all had to write in cursive back then. So just a really cool sheet of handwritten paper from at least the 1920s. Next in here, I took out from a, this is from a, what is this? This is not the, this is a McClure's magazine, 1904 McClure's magazine. Okay, so what I took out of here, and they had all these bound into a book. So I took the book and I took out at least 2 stories, so full stories. So you get 2 full stories out of this book, and there's a lot of really pretty pictures in some of these. And I just think it's cool because I wanted you to have some of the stories. That was kind of the thing, is to be able to read some of the things from 100 years ago. But there's some pretty pictures in it, but also if you enjoy reading the material from magazines and newspapers from 100 years ago, that's why I try to contain at least the full story. So there's, I don't know, I think everybody gets 2 full stories at least, and I think there's around 10 pages or more. So there's a whole bunch to read there and some really pretty pictures in that one. And that was 1904 McClure's magazine. This one here, this is a 1922. This is the earliest. So 1922, just 100 years old. This is from a French book, and the material of this paper is so thick and like, it's almost like velvet of how smooth it is, but it's really, really pretty, and it's just all, it's French text, but it's just really, really pretty paper, and it's, you know, 1 complete sheet. I did not tear them apart, but everybody gets a full sheet of the French book page. Now into some of the more interesting things here. This was really cool. This is from a 1919, this is from the AEF. This is from World War I. So the soldiers who were stationed in France, because this is from France, if you can see here, France, Friday, May 9th, 1919. So this division, I think this is the American, is it the Exploratory Forces or Exemplary Forces? I'm not sure what exactly that stands for, but they're a branch of the army in World War I stationed in France, and this was their newspaper. And it's just really, really cool. If you have anybody who's into any World War I history, this is just a really, really cool piece, because this would have been probably sent back home to someone's family from France. A lot of the troops would send the newspapers home to their family members. But yeah, so everybody gets a full newspaper. Now this is newspaper material. It is rather brittle, but they are in pretty good shape here. But this is just a really cool piece of historical information there. So everybody gets a full newspaper from World War I. Put that over there. And then some music sheets. These here, there are 2 double spreads here. I kept them connected just in case you wanted to just bind them into a book. These are from a 1914 songbook. Yes, the songbook that I'm working on. The Laurel Songs. That came out of that book. That's a 1914 book. So you get 2 sheets of music paper. This is another cool book. This is an accounting. This is called Counting House Arithmetic. But there's just some really cool old pictures in here. A lot of the black and white pictures are pretty neat. There's some tables, numbers, just interesting stuff rather than just text that I thought people might enjoy. And plus, it's just kind of cool to see some of the math from, 1900s. So there's those. There's 3 sheets of those. One is attached and one just has I tried to put a couple pictures on there. I tried to go for the black and white pictures and things. Next up here I have this is from, now this spans a couple years. 1917 through 1919, I think. So you could either get 1917 to 18, 1918, 1919, whatever. This is from a church account book. So it's just a ledger from a church account book. You can see how much people must have been putting into the donation category. So there you go. There's 1 full sheet of that in every pack of this. And then there is also a full sheet here of the 1917 needlecraft. And there are some cool advertisements in here. So like this one here has just some really pretty pictures in it. And then there's some really cool, fun advertisements. I love these advertisements. But there's a full newspaper of that, 1 full sheet of that. And then this is from an 1897 geography book. But again, really pretty black and white pictures. I just love the black and white sketches like this in these books. Some do have writing on them, if you can see here. They were written in, I believe these were textbooks. But again, really cool piece of antique history here. There's a really cool map. Just fun pieces to look at, to read, to touch the material from, 100 and some years ago. Also, everybody gets, these are from a children's book, and the paper is just super, super aged, really pretty. I tried to include pictures again. I did try to maintain the spread, but not all of them. They are very fragile, but I did try to maintain the single page spread there. Lots of pictures. Everybody gets some black and white pictures. And what is this? This is a 1920 children's book. And now these are super cool. I really, really like these. These are from a 1901 Delineator, if you've heard of that, the Delineator magazine. But look how gorgeous these pictures are. And they're like, if you feel them, like they're the ink is like raised up on them. I don't know if you can see her flowers, but there's even like texture to the flowers, but these are just awesome pictures in here. I love these gorgeous colors. Now, not every pack has a colored picture. Some have a full black and white picture, but everybody has at least a full sheet picture of these beautiful ladies in their dresses. Love, love, love those. And the next thing in there, I also included from that magazine, I think I have 3, yeah, I included 3 sheets of pages from that magazine. So the sheets in the magazine have either, like a lot of them have the fashions for 1901. So there's pictures of dresses, tops, skirts, hats, shoes. You'll get some sort of fashion pages, and then you'll get a page of like advertisements. So I've included 1 page from the magazine of just different advertisements, which I love. Again, this is one of the things you could cut out each one of these little advertisements and use. Love those. So those are all from the Delineator magazine from 1901. And then I have in here 1 full weekly magazine from the Harper's Young People. These are from 1884. And every weekly publication has roughly, I think, 7 or 8 pages. So everybody gets 1 full weekly publication, which includes 7 or 8 pages. They were all a little bit different, but they're just really fun. The beautiful black and white sketches. Lots of fun things to read in here. Just gorgeous pictures. Fun articles. I do read a lot of these antique, like publications. I just think they're very interesting. So everybody gets 1 illustrated weekly Harper's Young People magazine from 1884. And then the last thing in here is, this one is from a Use Companion. So this is from 1911, Use Companion, and it's 1 large newspaper spread, which includes all kinds of either pictures or advertisements, fun articles to read, and it's just 1 large newspaper-like spread. So that is everything in the Centuries pack that I have here. I believe there's probably, if you count every page, there's probably at least 80 or 90 pages total, I would say. But some of this is just very old historical pieces, rare, one of a kind. I'm not sure you'll find some of these things in every antique shop you go into. But that was kind of what the collection I was going for, something very just different and unique. And if you purchase this collection, I am also going to include one of my digital sets in here. And this is from my Wildflowers kit. Now, I have 4 sets out there, but I just thought these were really pretty. They went, I think, with the antique vintage look. Now, these are actually from a watercolor, like a wildflower watercolor book I do have. It is a very old book, and these are the scanned images of all the watercolored flowers in it. So each set includes 2 pages of oval frames and then 4 pages of square frames. And every single image is different. None of these are the same. And of all 4 sets, none of the images are the same. So no matter what set you get, you will be getting different images. So that was set 1. And I'm just going to put, these will be in there at random. This is what set 2 looks like. 2 pages of ovals. And these are just really pretty images to use as journal cards. and tuck spots in your journals. I like using these. They're just gorgeous pictures. They don't really need any embellishments more than what is already there. So that was set 2. Here's set 3. Again, 2 sets of ovals. And then the 4 sets of the squared. There's a bunch of really pretty purples. So there's the 4 pages of squared frames. And the last set here, set 4. There's your 2 oval pages. And then here is all of your squared images. Just really pretty, colorful images. And those will be included in every pack as just a complimentary thank you. So if you're interested, go over and check out my Etsy shop. I'll have these listed in there. I do have only limited quantities because of the nature of the, the documents, not everything. It is hard to come by some of these things that are really, really old. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.